Cool stuff, right? Now let's go over to the phone and texting. So the calling and texting section and how to use Remine and leverage your time and really be more targeted with your prospecting when it comes to either cold calling or texting the people that are highly likely to take action in ultimately what you're seeking, which is selling or helping home buyers. All right, so very similar to the email portion, we are going to go over to track, and just to give you an idea how to remove them, I'm going to remove all the ones that we were previously tracking in the previous section, and they are gone. Go back to the Discover tab, keep the same information. Now I want to track all of them again. There's 83 new opportunities. I must have zoomed in a little bit further. And I'm going to go to track, and you get the information. So that one's actually for sale. There you go. Okay. Now, what's important here is really stress that the pro account is where you're going to want to be at if you're looking to advertise essentially more than 60 properties. I think that's what the math came out to. If your farm is larger than 60 properties, then see it as an investment, because that's what it is. Go ahead and bump up to the pro account, because that's where you get the contact information for free. The other accounts, you do need to pay $3 per, and the contact information that they provide is, if it's available, you're going to get the email and you're going to get as many phones associated to the property owners. And you're also going to get, every time they open a new email or open a new phone number, that's going to be updated and will be part of your engagement. So as you're tracking them, you'll be able to see when somebody else added a phone number and things of that nature. So you're going to want to go ahead and do the pro account. This probably won't be the last time that I mention it in this course, but I can't stress that enough. To get the full effect of the email strategy and get the full effect of calling and texting, that's where you're going to want to be, because at the end of the day, you're saving money instead of having to purchase all of these per property. But beyond that, it just takes one deal and you've paid for your software for the entire year, if not 2 years. So it's a big investment into your future. So I'll stop mentioning it in this course, but I'm sorry, in this section, not in this course, because I do need to remind you about it. Anyway, very similar to what we did in the email, we're going to go to contact owners. And if it's on the do not call list, we move on. A lot of DNCs, which is not too surprising in my farm. When I run across a profile and an owner that has a DNC, a do not call, and a phone number that does not have a DNC, I just keep moving on. I could risk it, but I'm not going to, because technically that email is not on. I'm sorry, that phone number is not on the do not call list. But at some point they had an email associated to the do not call list. So that's going to be a tough row to hoe when I reach out to them and they're under the assumption that all of their phone numbers are on the do not call list. So you saw it took me about 6 people to get to one that is actually not on the do not call list. If you want to call directly from here and make it your part of your morning ritual, or whenever you're doing cold calling or prospecting, go straight off of here. Just get your cell phone out, dial directly from here. That's really how I would do it. I don't do this too much. I think I admitted that in another section. I don't do cold calling too much because that's not part of my strategy. But this is one way of doing it, and it's not really possible to see which is a landline or a text line. So I would text to both of them. I'm more of a fan of texting, so I do text frequently. So depending on where I'm at, if I'm trying to kill time between appointments or anything else like that, I go ahead and just drop them text and get on here and be as productive as possible with my day. I don't do the calling because, again, there's that element of introversion and not brave enough to do it. So again, cold callers, door knockers, all you extroverts out there, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. But anyway, you can go directly off of here, or if you want to start building a call list, which all we would need to do is get that, come over here and paste it, phone, and then keep going down the line. Now, as a reminder, the functionality to download all this information from the contact perspective is not there yet. With Remine, I do expect them to get there very, very quickly, as they are blistering at what they do. They just get things done. They've been growing at such an alarming pace, where I think they're over 100 employees at this point in a rather short amount of time. So they'll get to it. And anyway, so that's how you do that. And the reason that I'm list building over here is, if you are going to take this at a high level, and when I say high level, I don't necessarily mean very broad or anything else like that. I mean, if you're going to do this en masse, then I do want to provide you some tools that you can do that with. If your callers out there, again, if you're at a high level with calling, you already know this, but you can go to Slide Dial and sign up. Let's see what their pricing is, because I always get these wrong, and that's what's happening. All right, 10 cents per slide dial, so that's per call. And then you see that, the premium version. But slide dial, essentially what that is direct to voicemail. We've received those calls where we pick up the phone, or we don't have the time to pick up the phone. It seems that it immediately just pops up into our voicemail. That's what this is, slide dial, direct to voicemail messaging. Connects your call directly to someone's voicemail, allowing you to leave a message in their, oh, come on now. Don't move so quick. And allowing you to leave a message in their mailbox. And with its new group messaging feature, you can now send a voicemail to 10 people at once. So if you wanted to do it at a high level and only be strategically only land at their mailbox without actually having the conversation with them, that's part of your strategy. You can use slide dial, which will bypass the person and go straight into their voicemail if that's what you want to do. Now you have Mojo Dialer, which essentially make 300 calls per hour with Mojo Dialer. It sends out multi-lines. You're calling at once. It's almost like a call center, which a lot of call centers actually use this, and you're constantly calling. Again, this isn't part of my strategy with the cold calling, so I don't have as much information or experience with this. I just know that this is something that the people that are doing it at a high level and make it a part of their business, calling the expireds, they have a Mojo Dialer, or a dialer of sorts, that reaches out to all these people simultaneously, and you're constantly on the phone to where you don't have to pause, get their phone number, dial it into your phone, and then make the call. So if you're going to do that at a high level, I do suggest Mojo Dialer. You import your data, which is why it's important to go ahead and start list building. So the Mojo Dialer already has it, and you start calling. Again, it's multi-lines. It'll be dialing at once, and it's rotating. You can make notes. It becomes more of your CRM, and you're able to track it that way. So that's about calling. So you can do the direct offer Remine strategy of just calling the phones that are available to you, or texting the phones that are in front of you, depending on where you feel comfortable or how many you plan to do. But as how I do it, again, I'm a big fan of systems. I'm a big fan of processes. And what I do, if I am trying to, gather more data than anything, and then send out something en masse with my email list. Or whenever I pull emails, as I mentioned, I don't automatically put it into my email drip campaign or anything else like that, because I don't want my email to be hurt with deliverability. If a lot of people are marking my email as junk or anything else like that. But with texting, which is predominantly what I do with the phone numbers, with texting, I go straight to my Lion desk. I add a folder and I do texting Remine and shortlist. Now let's just do texting. I guess same thing. Save. You'll see that I created my folder, and what I want to do now is I want to create a text template, short description of what I'm going to say in the text. Example, text 1. And again, keeping my audience in mind, I got this contact information because I know that they have a 6% interest rate or higher. So have you considered refinancing? And then I'm going to put texting Remine, put it under that folder. I'm going to save my text. Then I'm going to put another text template. Remine text number 2. I forgot exactly what I put on the other one, so sorry about that. Then I'm going to put, hey, this is Jaime. Have you considered, and again, I'm not too concerned about the ad copy right now. I want to show you more of the functionality. So what did I say on the first one? We said, hey, have you considered refinancing? Interest rates are at historical lows, or something like that. Then I'm going to put it back into my text and Remine. Oh no, I closed without saving, didn't I? Well, silly. Remine 2. Interest rates are at historical lows. Okay. Save text. Then I'm going to go to an auto drip campaign. Add a new autopilot. Remine texting. Save. And there it is. I'm going to assign some tasks to it. I want a text. I want to text Remine. And I want to send the first one. Stop on text reply. Yes. No, you must have a Lion Desk custom number. So the thing with Lion Desk is you do get a customized number for you. You can't put your own phone number as if it's being sent from your phone number, but it costs $1, so it's not an additional, it's not too much of a cost. It's an additional dollar for you to have that additional number, but that's what you need to have. And you can send it the moment that you activate this campaign. So add the task, and then you want to send another text. You're going to go over to text and Remine, do the second one, stop on text reply, days later, add task, and there you go. So that's how you set the auto texting to Then you can take this information and import it into your line desk or go into your contacts and manually add them and assign this this drip campaign over to your contact. I'm not going to go too much into it because I do want to be brief on it, but that's how you can do it through Line Desk. You may have your own, you most likely do have your own way of doing your email drip campaigns. Everyone has different strategy or different software. So again, it just depends on preference of the software, the tools that you have available. If you're going to be leaving direct voicemail messages, slide dial is the way to go, or something similar. If you go to Mojo Dialer, there's several competing products out there comparable to Mojo Dialer. So go and check out. I don't even know the pricing on this. So there you go. That's what you can expect with Mojo Dialer. If you're wanting to integrate it into your software or into the way that you do business in the CRM that you have, if you have texting capabilities, this is how you create a campaign. Then you just go and create a contact or import your contact of names and assign a drip campaign. If I am going through a mass email list, if I'm going through a mass list of phone numbers, then yes, I would go through the trouble of going on to Line Desk and creating a drip campaign to send them out. So that is how you do calling, and that is how you do texting marketing through Remine information.